I want to talk today about getting stuck in a rut. Um, Oftentimes, we'll set intentions or goals to snap us out of whatever rut that we're in, right? It's like, okay, I've got to eat a bigger breakfast tomorrow. Like, tomorrow's the day. I'm going to do it. Tomorrow, I'm going to eat a bigger breakfast. And it's like, to me, that's vague, right? I'm going to eat a bigger breakfast, to me, is a very vague goal. So you're going to wake up in the morning and you get stuck in kind of like a fight or flight mode, and all of a sudden, like, the bigger breakfast turns into, I don't know, like a scraping more of peanut butter than you would have put on your toast, or a little tiny bit more of oats or cereal. And it's just not doing the trick. It's not getting you out of that rut that you're so desperately trying to get out of, and probably feeling really aggravated with yourself that you're not getting there. So a practical tool for this, getting out of kind of the same old every single day, doing the same thing even though you're trying to do something different, would be to actually set a very concrete, specific goal. So this might look like, and what I tell my clients sometimes is, I know it's not ideal to have to like plan out a day, right, of eating, but sometimes if we can plan out a really, really, really challenging day that just really, really messes with the eating disorder and like throws off all of your routines and your rituals, and you're not eating any safe food and you're eating like 20 times more than you're eating before, if you can just have a day like that planned out that you're committed to following through with, that you've talked to somebody about, like, hey, I'm doing this. Tomorrow, I am doing this. This is happening. I need you to check in with me to make sure that I'm doing these things. Whatever kind of accountability you need to set up to make sure that these things happen, do it. And then follow through, like commit to making that happen. So the cool thing that happens with when people do this and commit to this, well, one, they have like the confidence in knowing that they could get through a whole day not doing like any eating disorder behaviors, not any kind of weird rituals around food. They got through a day not eating any of their safe foods. And then it makes them feel like, if I did that yesterday, I could do that again today, because now I know I actually in a day can eat that much food. Like, that's a thing. It's a thing to like not eat all my safe foods. It's a thing to eat out for every meal. It's a thing, like all these things start to become possibilities. But I think the problem is people don't ever actually try it. Like, we have a hard time committing to unrestricted eating for life. Sometimes it just feels like, I don't even know what that means. I don't even know where to start, so I'm done. I just can't. Instead of like, well, what if I sit down and make this small goal and commit to making tomorrow like completely eating disorder free? Tomorrow, I'm going to act like a person that does not have an eating disorder at all. And it's going to feel amazing because it's going to snap you out of that rut. Obviously, you're going to have anxiety and it's going to scare you, but if you go into it with confidence and you go into it with like energy and excitement that you're doing this, almost it kind of feels like an adrenaline rush. It almost, at least I remember, like, I talk about my recovery a lot on this channel, and sometimes I think I make it come across as though like I decided one day that I was going to fully recover, and then I saw it to the end and I never struggled. And that's obviously not the case. And I hope that I haven't given off that message. Obviously, I had days that were so hard, or I'd find myself like making progress and then kind of plateauing and kind of getting stuck in a place where like I was doing so much better, but I knew that there were like so many things I still need to challenge. And then I, would stay there longer than I needed to, or would want to, but it would be so hard for me to kind of get that kick in the butt to then push forward. And that's exactly what I implemented in my recovery, was that. I'm like, okay, I sit down with my husband, Zach, listen, I feel like I keep saying that I'm gonna have a bigger breakfast, and it's just not happening. Like, if I'm being honest with myself, it's just not happening. So tomorrow I'm committing to having this and this and this and this, and I will not, for me it was, I got stuck on oatmeal. I will not have any oatmeal in any way, shape, or form. I'm not having oatmeal. And oatmeal is a common one. Like, if you're listening to this and you're like, oh my gosh, yes, it's because I've talked to so many people that are stuck on oatmeal for breakfast. Get over it. Oatmeal's great and it's wonderful and you can have it in all different ways, but in recovery, it's not your friend, because it's a safe, if it is a safe food for you, it's not your friend. And that goes with all foods. I don't care how much you like a food. If you're in recovery, it's not doing much for you in terms of rewiring if it doesn't invoke any anxiety, and if it's not like a challenging thing for you to eat. there's plenty of other foods that I'm sure you probably enjoy too, but it's got that anxiety that's attached to it, and that's why you're not enjoying it, or that's why you're not going after it. But those are the exact things that you have to go after. So I would sit down and say, Zach, I'm not having any oatmeal. Here's what I'm having for breakfast. And then here, I know my tendency, because I had to kind of like be one step ahead of the eating disorder. So I know my tendency would be, if I did that in the past, what's happened is then I start finding myself choosing safer foods throughout the day because I had this bigger breakfast. So I can't let myself do that anymore. So in order to stay accountable, in order to prove to myself that I don't compensate or restrict after a large breakfast, here's what I'm having for my snack. Here's what I'm having for lunch. Here's what I'm having for a snack. Here's what I'm having for dinner. And when I was really, truly committed to that, it wasn't just like one snack in between breakfast and lunch and one snack in between, like we sometimes hear the 3 meals and 3 snacks. It was like so much more than that, but somehow me committing to just that put me in that mindset of like, I'm doing this, I'm eating unrestrictedly, so that when I had that snack and I wanted several more snacks after that snack, I like somehow was allowing myself to do it because I was like really in recovery that day. Hopefully you're following along with this, and hopefully some of you can relate to what I'm talking about when you say, yeah, I need to eat more. Yeah, I need to mix up my lunches. It's like, yeah, you do. But like, if you don't have like a very concrete written out goal, at least this is how I operated in my recovery. If I didn't have something that was really written out and concrete initially when I was changing things, it didn't happen. It gets tricky though, because we don't obviously want to plan every single day and have every single thing written out. So you have to go into the mindset with like, these are the absolute non-negotiables. These are the things that are going down my throat today. I am chewing and swallowing these foods, absolute bare minimum. And then anything on top of that, of course, be spontaneous, go with your cravings, whatever else. Another thing that I find that people will run into is like, they'll write out, here's what I've committed to doing tomorrow to kind of tear the Band-Aid, get me out of this space that I'm in, that I'm stuck in. And the day will come, and let's say they have like, I don't know, a big club sandwich from such and such deli that they're planning to get. And then lunch comes and it's like, I didn't really feel like it though. Like, I don't know, like I was craving it yesterday. I was craving it last night when I wrote it out, but then like at lunchtime, I just did it. I genuinely just didn't feel like the sandwich. And that's when I say, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It's not about like just exactly what you want in that moment. Like you committed to eating that, go and get that food. It was challenging for you. There's a reason you wrote it down. Perhaps that anxiety is what's making you feel like you don't want it anymore. So don't play games with yourself. Stay committed. Too bad, too sad. If you didn't want the sandwich, fine, eat it that day you committed to it, and then the next day choose something else that's challenging. But I think sometimes we like get our emotions too involved, and anxiety can really mess things up when it comes to like truly being honest with following through with commitments. So that's hopefully a tool that you guys can practice. It's the weekend. It's a great time to challenge yourself with that. So depending on where you are, a lot of like international people that listen to this. So if it's already Sunday for you, do it on Monday. If it's Sunday for you tomorrow, do it tomorrow. You're home hopefully from work, and you can really devote like a solid day of like truly putting yourself in the position of, I am going to act like I don't have an eating disorder. If someone was by my side the whole day, they would have no doubt that I'm a very normal eater. Like they would not question if I had ever had an eating disorder. Play that game with yourself. Sometimes I had to play games and get creative to kind of like keep myself motivated to keep going in recovery, because it's so easy. I keep talking about this, but it's so easy to get stuck in this halfway recovered place where you're functioning, but you're not really thriving. You're getting by, but you're really not free. You're existing, but you're not living, right? So push past that, get out of that rut, and try this tool that I've talked about today. Okay, hope you're having a good day. Bye.